Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. It's your host Grady Hooker. We're going to start straight off live Skype right now. I've got Josh.
Hi.
Okay, so Battleground actually started off with the kickoff match between Dolph Ziggler and Mr. Money in the Bank, Damien Sandow.
I'm not too surprised Ziggler won. Sandow has inherited the curse of Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler in having the SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase. Apparently, once you win that particular briefcase, you can't win.
It's because you got to make the cash-in a surprise.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise anymore.
Well, how many people had their money on that Sandow would cash in after the World Heavyweight title match?
I've been saying it. However, I guess, I don't know why they chose not to do it, but it didn't happen.
Fair enough. Talking about that match, it was surprisingly also first on the card.
It was an interesting little match. A lot of hardcore weapon use and stuff. The reason that I had been saying that Sandow would walk out with the World Heavyweight Championship is because Van Dam was scheduled to take time off.
Yeah.
He was actually supposed to take it after Night of Champions, but he stayed over for this particular pay-per-view.
Fair enough.
That's why I thought if he was going to win the title, it would be immediately switched over to Sandow. Otherwise, he was not going to win the title.
And that's what they went with, allowing Alberto Del Rio to retain. With RVD taking time off, do you think Ricardo Rodriguez will just float around?
It's unknown. I really wish they would just let him wrestle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing for him to be in the spot he is with the manager and stuff and being part of the top card. But he is a talented wrestler and he deserves to go out there and show what he can do.
Just WWE won't let him.
Yeah.
Up next on the card, it was a impromptu match. The Real Americans took on Santino and Khali.
You gotta have a lot of fun here with the fact that it's an unannounced match.
Yeah.
The bright spot of this match was obviously the Cesaro swing of the Great Khali.
I was seeing that everywhere. It was on Facebook, it was on Twitter, YouTube.
I mean, it's one thing to be able to do it to a guy like Santino, but to do it to Khali, that shows just how strong he is.
It's quite amazing.
It could be the one person that could possibly challenge Mark Henry and John Cena as the strongest in the company.
Well, see, I thought he was strong back when he was hitting, like, neutralizers on these people, but the swing, I think, takes a lot more power than the neutralizer lift.
And I'm wondering if maybe they're building him to break away from the Real Americans and become a good guy using this swing, and then do like 100 swings at WrestleMania.
Fair enough. That would be pretty funny to watch at Mania. Up next, they actually put the Intercontinental Championship on the card, believe it or not.
Yeah, it was announced at SmackDown.
They care so much about that title.
I thought for sure R-Truth was going to win the title because I thought maybe it was time for a change. Curtis Axel has done nothing with the title. I think he's defended it 3 times. Total, including this one.
Yeah. He's been sort of busy with the CM Punk Heyman angle.
Yeah. This was a decent match, but it was nothing special. And Axel retained.
I did hear some murmurs coming out about R-Truth afterwards, though.
Well, a lot of people are thinking that there's something big for him coming because he's on the poster for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. In a suit.
In a suit.
Yeah.
Any dodgy people wear suits.
I don't think so. I mean, nothing big came from Kofi Kingston. He was on the Night of Champions poster with the Intercontinental Championship, and he was unannounced for challenging for that title.
But he still got a match for the title.
Yeah, but he didn't win it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Up next, we got some Divas action. AJ Lee took on Brie Bella.
Once again, I'm shocked that AJ Lee retained the title.
Yeah, well, to start with, I thought Natalya was in the match, and then they took a swerve and did Brie, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's it. Brie's gonna win the title, and then nothing.
I can't help but wonder what they're going to be doing with AJ. Are they going to do a match with Natalya in Hell in the Cell? Is she going to be able to? Because she looked like kind of out of it after the match.
Yeah, I think I've heard reports coming through of a concussion.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. And they were a little worried about her health, so I don't think she'll be on Raw this week.
Hopefully nothing too bad.
Yeah, worst comes to worst, they'll Dolph Ziggler her.
Oh, God. Don't do that.
Because you can't say Fandango because she's the champion.
Fair enough.
Whereas Fandango was about to become the champion.
Okay, well, we'll jump into the classic entrance theme of the week. I'm pretty sure you picked it, didn't you, Josh?
Yes.
Psycho Sid. And you're back, Wrestling Roundup FreeFM 89.0. That was Psycho Sid's entrance theme. Grady and Josh are still here. We'll jump into Battleground with the match that stole the show.
Yes, if anything, this match puts Cody Rhodes on the map. It's going to be the launching point for him. And I really think within the next year he's going to have at least one world title.
Yeah. It's definitely, especially since we've got still Sandow with the case, if we see Sandow cash in, then I could see those two going over the title.
It's possible we could even see at WrestleMania Damian Sandow versus Cody Rhodes for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's a bit wild to draw it out.
So it'll be interesting to see if they go where they go with Cody here. Goldust looks as good as he's ever looked, and the Shield is the Shield. They're good.
They just explain themselves. But yeah, you've got Goldust now. Does Goldust have a job back?
When they win, Goldust gets a job.
Okay, so
you get a job. You get a job. You all get a job.
Yeah. So what do we think Goldust, is going to be doing from here on?
I'm not sure. Probably a lot of stuff with the younger wrestlers once they finish the program with the Authority, as they proceeded to call it all night during the pay-per-view.
Okay.
So not anything like Corporate Evolution or the Corporation Part 2.
Fair enough. So we're not going to see Goldust going back and gimmicking it up with Santino?
We could, but probably not. My guess is that he'll probably just work a lot with the Fandangos of the WWE. People that are on their way up that he can showcase and show these guys are really good. That's kind of like Jericho has become.
So I was going to say. It'll be great seeing him back. And it's great that Dusty doesn't have to live.
If anybody can teach somebody about using their charisma to their maximum, it's Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And Dustin can teach some people how to own their characters.
Maybe they should just open up a, Rhodes family gym or something and just teach people completely. You just move on through the different family members to learn the different things.
I don't know. I think they'd probably be better off working at the Performance Center.
Probably. The amount of money that they'll get poured into that. But we'll move on to the next match. I don't know if this match was announced or not, but Bray Wyatt took on Kofi Kingston.
It apparently was, or at least it was rumored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was an alright match. Basically, you knew Bray Wyatt was going to win. Because it's not time for him to take his first loss.
No, I thought Kofi was going to absolutely obliterate him.
Do I detect some sarcasm?
No. You can't see my face, so you can't get any sarcasm.
But I can hear it in your voice.
Shh. But is this like the third time we've actually seen Bray Wyatt in action?
We've seen him in a few times, whether it would be with R-Truth, whether it be with Kane, but we haven't seen him in a lot of matches.
Okay.
I think we've seen a couple with Kofi, actually.
Okay. I got one question coming out of this entire pay-per-view. Where's Drew?
Rumors has it he's splitting up from the 3MB. And rumor has it he could be taking back a gimmick closely to his chosen one gimmick.
I'd be extremely happy if that happened.
I don't know for certain. I haven't heard anything more. It's just I've heard of rumors that they're considering it.
Or Drew's just being an annoying person on Twitter and tweeting shit to annoy people.
That's also a real quick way to get yourself fired. Or get yourself sent into an oblivion. Just ask Zack Ryder.
He's already in 3MB, isn't he?
You can't get much worse than Zack Ryder, though.
Yeah. He was on TV. But if we look at the next match, it was the long-awaited grudge match. CM Punk took on Ryback.
And once again, CM Punk beats Ryback. What is CM Punk, like 5-0 against Ryback?
I think Ryback's just like 0-1,000,000.
This was a match between two people who had won one match on pay-per-view all year long. And that one match was against the same opponent for both of them. Chris Jericho.
Okay. I don't see this ending now, though.
No, it's not ending. It's not going to end until Punk gets his hands on Heyman.
He got his hands on Heyman.
And actually punishes him.
Okay. So, do you think we're going to see a Hell in a Cell match? Okay. Hell in a Cell would be a nice place to just trap Heyman while no one's looking.
I don't know. I just don't see it ending at Hell in a Cell. I see it ending more at Survivor Series, mainly because the advertisements for the pay-per-view for tickets and stuff online says that he finally gets his hands on Paul Heyman.
And now we'll cut to our current entrance theme of the week. It's the big shows.
Well, it's a big show.
And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Hooker, and Josh. We'll jump into the last match on the card, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship.
The vacant WWE Championship that was sitting on a pedestal outside the ring. This was an alright match. It's definitely not one of Orton and Bryan's best matches together. I feel that anybody with about half a brain could have figured out this match was going to end without a resolution.
Yep, to keep the title in abeyance.
Until Hell in the Cell. So I saw a lot of stuff online where people were just not happy of this match. And I'm like, you should have known this was coming.
Fair enough.
They pretty much spelled it out.
Unless they paid too much attention to Reddit and Dolphins 5912, I think he is. I think he said Randy Orton was going to win that one.
From what I understand, they actually didn't make the decision for the final match until the show was about to go on air.
Wow.
And only 12 people knew about it.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
But that's what I understand is that they made the decision and told nobody what the outcome of the match was going to be until right at the pay-per-view start.
Wow. That's either really secretive, smart thinking on WWE's part, or they kept changing their mind.
But from what I understand, Orton was supposed to win the match up until right before the pay-per-view started.
Great. If we're going to ditch Battleground now and we're going to jump back to Raw, we actually saw the debut of, I wouldn't say a brand new tag team. Let's go with the re-debut of a tag team.
They have different names, so of course it's a debut.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not meant to remember they're the same people.
Yeah, we're not supposed to.
Even though JBL did.
But yeah, I enjoyed this debut. I really did. It was fun, and I believe having little Torito is going to get them over.
Hell yeah. That little bull guy is so awesome.
Yeah. The midget was awesome. I really and I like that finisher of theirs.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing where they can go with this group. I'm just not sure how far they can go, but I'm absolutely enjoying what I've seen so far.
Long as they keep El Torito, I'm happy. We also had, not really a debut, again, another re-debut of the Rise Above Cancer campaign that WWE try and do each year.
Yeah, this is a good campaign because it helps with individuals that end up with breast cancer, which is a very dangerous and deadly disease.
And instead of just doing the campaign with John Cena like they did last year, I think they've extended it to every single WWE superstar.
Yeah, anybody who has a shirt, pretty much, right now that's major in the company, has a pink shirt now.
Yeah.
Because I know Orton, Bryan, I think Cesario has one.
Fandango, Big Show, Kofi.
Fandango does. Big Show, Kofi. There's like 9 or 10 shirts that were pink on WWEshop.com.
Okay. Well, you should head over there right now, buy a pink shirt, put the money towards breast cancer, and it's a great thing. If we look ahead, ignoring that now, we'll go to Hell in a Cell. It's the next pay-per-view coming.
Yes, in 3 weeks.
So short.
Yeah, so we'll see where they're going, but I told you in private.
Yeah.
I believe the main event for Hell in a Cell will be Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus The Big Show inside the Hell in a Cell with special guest referee Shawn Michaels.
One thing we did actually forget to mention back at the pay-per-view part, Big Show actually ended the match in a no contest. Sorry if you hadn't actually seen the match and was hoping to know the outcome.
Yeah, he knocked out Scott Armstrong, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton.
So Scotty was back.
Hired back by Brad Maddox.
Brad. Do you think that we'll see RVD taking time off and a new challenger come up for Alberto's title?
We almost have to because they've announced on WWE.com that he's taking time off.
Oh.
After the pay-per-view.
That sort of ends it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have to see who they pick. Honestly, the main event area is so thin right now, it's hard to even pick somebody for a Burt title.
Yeah,
but the world title will be defended.
It has to be defended. Do you think in a cell?
No. I think it'll be a singles match.
Oh, come on. Put it in the cell. Put every match in the cell.
Then you'd have Lockdown.
Good call. Tag titles. Do we think the Shield will move on from the Rhodes family?
Well, the Usos are still supposed to be the number one contenders.
Oh, yeah, they never got their shot, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. I don't know. I honestly don't know where the Shield goes from.
There's not much we do know heading into WWE recently.
No. And with such short time in between the pay-per-views, it's hard to build anything. You'd almost have to believe that it would have to be the Rhodes against Rollins and Reigns again for the titles.
Yeah, you've got 3 weeks, and the only angle that you can really see going through is the major big one, the Authority, and everything else seems to be taking hits. All the other angles not getting as much airtime because this massive one is hogging it all up.
So with everything else, it's like, let's throw something against the wall and see if it sticks.
Pretty much. Like, they keep forgetting about the Intercontinental title.
Because the champion is so forgettable.
He's not JTG.
It'd be even worse if it was JTG.
Why don't we bring JTG back? Just saying.
Let's fire him, because, I mean, when was the last time he was on television? In a non-brawl situation or lumberjack situation?
I think a month ago, maybe on Superstars.
That's not television.
It's over here in television.
It's not over here.
WrestleMania Battle Royal sometime?
Well, I said non-battle royal.
Yeah.
I said non-battle royal, Non-brawl segment.
I would have to go probably back when Crime Time was still around.
Just after they split up.
Well, I don't
He
remember anything more.
He hasn't done much. They've barely been on TV the last 4 years.
Fair enough.
And when it is, it's either in a brawl situation or he's just absolutely gets decimated by whoever he's put up against.
Hold on, here we go. On the dark match of TLC, he obtained his first win in months, defeating David Otunga. There we go.
Which is another guy that we haven't seen in a year.
Yet somehow David Otunga made it onto WWE 2K14.
Well, he does a lot of promotional stuff with the fact that he's a lawyer. He goes on a lot of the programs and stuff like that and promotes both the WWE and his ability as a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why he's in the little intro thing with the now, then, forever stuff.
True.
He's actually in that thing.
Sure, it's not just because he's married to someone famous?
He's actually, I don't think they've gotten married yet.
In a relationship with someone famous?
He's engaged to somebody famous, yeah. Yes. Oh, speaking of which, Titus O'Neil is dating Omarosa, the celebrity Princess star.
Yeah. Speaking of engagements, we almost missed the fact that Brie Bella is now engaged to Brian as well.
Congratulations is in order to them.
There's love in the air. Do, 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 do. I'll just stop singing.
I kind of expected them to walk out with both titles, but then I realized, nope, that can't happen.
It can happen in about 3 months.
You know, it might happen at Hell in a Cell.
Unless they're going to give Natalia what she deserves.
Yeah, we'll have to see because next month Total Divas comes back for the second half of their first season.
Yeah, is that before or after Hell in a Cell?
In middle of November.
Okay.
So it'd be around Survivor Series.
So they've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, but they would still. I think they would probably need to film a few things though still for it.
True.
And I think one of the things they would probably want for the premiere is probably a title change.
They don't need a title change. They would just like one very much. And if it has to be a title change, I will be happy with it going to one of the Bellas. Where I'm guessing you'd be very happy for it to go to one of Natalia.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind Brie winning it either.
See,
I'd on Nikki though.
Yeah, I'd want to say Nikki, mostly because I think Brie's had it twice now.
Yeah, it is the weird thing. Whenever they have won the title, it's always been Brie that won it. Yeah, it was, I believe, it was always Nikki that was actually winning the title.
Yeah,
Twin
only
Magic.
because the twins switched.
But now they can't use Twin Magic.
No. Here we go. Oh no. They've held the Divas title twice, Brie's held it once, and Nikki's held it once. I stand corrected. And I am shocked.
It's possible they may even split the Bellas up.
True. It
A
says
lot of stuff.
Nikki held it for 6 days in April of 2012.
I know what that one was. That was when she beat Beth Phoenix.
Yep. And then
And then-
Layla took it off her.
And then Layla took it off and they got fired.
Yep.
Or no, they quit during a WWE app segment.
And before that, Brie Bella held the title for 70 days. Well, there you go. There's something you learn each day. What about the US title? Do you think Dean will just float about with it?
I don't know. Honestly, it's weird. He's kind of had no competition himself.
Fair enough. He's sort of just playing into the Shield's angle.
Yeah, which is currently with the Authority angle.
So many angles within angles. It's angleception. Okay, well, it's been great talking to you.
Been great being on.
And in New Zealand wrestling, we're heading towards IPW's Nightmare Road, Right to Reclaim. Currently, we know a few matches. We know the main event is going to be for the IPW World Heavyweight Championship in a blindfold match. James Shaw will be taking on Vinnie Dunn. We also know in women's action that Brittany will be taking on Evie. And we also now know, coming through on Facebook here, that Kingy will be taking on the bigger figure Ty Cade. And in interesting news coming from Twitter, it actually looks like Steve Wrigley has told the legendary New Zealand promoter Dion McCracken that his services are no longer needed in IPW. So let's wish him well on his future endeavours. Travis Banks is back in New Zealand and he sets his sights on Impact Pro Wrestling to make his return at Right to Reclaim. And that's it for Wrestling Roundup this week. I've been your host, Grady Hooker. We've also had Josh. Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio, and I'll see you next week.